Now we have fucking asshole.
Hey everyone, welcome back to channel 1134. I'm Clint.
And I'm Jeremiah. And on today's episode, we're going to be recommending our favorite films from the years 1982 and 1983.
Once again, we just want to state that these films are a mix of our favorite films and films we think everyone should check out at least once in their life.
So let's get after it. Our first film from 1982 is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. This installment of the Halloween franchise departs from the Michael Myers storyline and instead tells a standalone story about a sinister plot involving an evil corporation's Halloween mask and a plan to sacrifice children.
Stop it! Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, the night no one comes home. Season of the Witch.
Hello? They're here.
Our second film is Poltergeist, directed by Tobe Hooper and produced by Steven Spielberg. This horror film follows a suburban family whose home is invaded by malevolent spirits, leading to terrifying encounters and desperate struggle to save their daughter.
Poltergeist. It knows what scares you. Weekends are a good time to escape to the woods. Unless the weekend begins with Friday the 13th.
Our third film is Friday the 13th, Part 3. Continuing the saga of Jason Voorhees, this installment sees the iconic killer don his signature hockey mask for the first time as he terrorizes a group of friends staying at a remote lakeside cabin.
Coming soon. Jolting tales of horror.
Next up, we have Creepshow, directed by George A. Romero and written by Stephen King. This horror anthology film presents 5 terrifying tales inspired by EC Comics, featuring themes of horror, dark humor, and supernatural revenge. Amazing makeup effects by Tom Savini round out the trifecta of horror genius that make this movie the greatest anthology ever made.
No, this is going to be an entirely new experience.
Creepshow, the most fun you'll ever have being scared.
Men have just discovered something. For 100,000 years, it was buried in the snow and ice. Now it has found a place to live, inside, where no one can see it, or hear it, or feel it.
Our last film from 1982 is The Thing, directed by John Carpenter with an amazing cast headed by Kurt Russell. This science fiction horror film follows a group of researchers in Antarctica who encounter a shape-shifting alien organism that can assimilate and mimic any living being, leading to paranoia, distrust, and gruesome deaths as they struggle to survive. This film is also one of the greatest films ever made.
I know you're jealous. The kitten's cut in half, aren't it?
Ride is over. We're not finished yet!
Our first film from 1983 is Christine, Also directed by John Carpenter and based on the novel by Stephen King, this supernatural horror film tells the story of a teenager who becomes obsessed with his possessed car, which has a murderous mind of its own.
Nothing that lives in the imagination is more frightening than the terror that lives in Castle Rock, Maine.
Our next recommendation, Cujo, just so happens to also be adapted from a Stephen King novel. This psychological horror film follows a mother and her young son who become trapped in their car by a rabid Saint Bernard, leading to a tense, terrifying battle for survival in the sweltering heat.
From the novel by Stephen King comes a startling vision of fear.
Please, God, get me out of here.
Now there's a new name for terror. Cujo.
Now we have Psycho 2, a sequel to Alfred Hitchcock's classic film. This psychological thriller revisits Norman Bates years after the events of the original, as he is released from a mental institution and attempts to reintegrate into society, only to be haunted by this past and possibly returning to his old ways. It is one of the greatest sequels ever made.
22 years later, Norman Bates is home. Psycho 2.
It's starting again.
Dear Mom and Dad, I've been at a sleepaway camp for almost 3 weeks, and I'm getting very scared.
Last but certainly not least, we have Sleepaway Camp, a cult classic slasher film set at a summer camp where a series of mysterious and gruesome deaths occur as a traumatized young girl named Angela attends the camp, leading to shocking revelations about her past and identity.
Everything about this film is a perfect depiction of 1980s horror fun. The cheesiness of it, the clothes, the acting, the dialogue, and that ending. Oh yeah, that ending.
Sleepaway camp. You won't be coming home.
Well, that wraps up our horror film recommendations for the years 1982 and 1983. We suggest finding these films and checking them out if you haven't seen them all.
If you disagree or have suggestions, put them in the comments. Just don't be a dick.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And hit that notification bell.
For Channel 1134, I'm Clint.
And I'm Jeremiah. And we'll catch you on the dark side. This psychological thriller revisits Norman Bates years after the events of the original, as he is released from a mental institution and attempts to reintegrate into society. Why can't I say society? I can say it now. Society. Fuck off.
What the fuck is this? I don't know.